Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya Farrell. This is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythms City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got Jonathan Whitby, who is from Sales Geek. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Sonya. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Good, good. Do you like our lovely studio
I love it.
here?
I'm very impressed, yeah.
Good. Now, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Sales Geek.
Yes.
I want to know, first of all, what Sales Geek actually is.
Yeah.
But also, what I want to know more is, how did you get to this point now where you're running your own business with Sales Geek?
Good question. Yeah, so Sales Geek is it's a franchise organisation. It was founded in 2017. The founder was called Richard Few, and is still there now. Kind of saw a gap in the market for SMEs, really, who got a good business, grown organically and got to a level, but needed some help to go to the next level, and it was risky to so they needed a sales director in the business, and it was risky to go and hire that person. Mm-hmm. Expensive, maybe not the revenue in the business to do that, or are you going to get the right person? So tended just not to do it. So they stopped doing it. So we got the gap there. So we come in as a fractional sales director. De-risk everything. We come in a day to 4 days a month and be the sales director, get you that growth normally for a year, 18 months, mm-hmm. And you then got the revenue, you've got the sales engine is built then, and you can then hire that sales manager or sales director to come in and off you go. So that was kind of the gap that he saw, so he did that himself, and then end of 2020 saw the franchise opportunity for that, brought somebody else in the business to do sales training, so I was franchisee number 3 in April 2021, and I kind of look after geographically sort of North Staffs and Chester East, my kind of area, but we do work all over the UK, and there's 25 to 30 of us now in the UK. Mm-hmm. There's a few of us over in the US and India, we're all over there. So yeah, it works. So what we do, it works, and we help customers. I got to Sales Geek. I've been in sales all my life, 30 odd years, been doing that.
That long?
30, yeah. I know, don't look at it. But yeah, 30 odd years in sales. My last role before Sales Geek, worked for Tesla for 5 years. So kind of joined them in 2015 when they first came to the UK. Helped Tesla build out the North UK from a sales perspective, and was responsible for the sales operation there. Loved it, great time, but left at the end of 2020. Thought I'd done my bit for the business by then. I wanted something different. Wanted to do my own business, but not. Don't know. Always been trepidation about it. Some risk, right, in having your own business. But the franchise model for me kind of de-risked it a bit, and went for it. And in 2021, and still here 5 years later. And I really, really enjoy it, helping out local businesses. It's kind of, I guess, SME market is the key. We do big corporates and smaller businesses as well, but SME market is key, and helping out owners and managing directors of those local businesses in the area and helping them succeed and get some growth is really, really rewarding. So yeah. So
when you're speaking to businesses, then perhaps for the first time, what stage, or what would a business come to you with their biggest headache on how they would be potentially looking to implement a sales strategy, even for the first time, or to improve a sales strategy? What are those sort of factors that they sort of notice which drives them to speak to somebody like yourself in the industry?
Okay, it's usually one or two things. Number one is owner of the business is kind of still managing everything, all the functions in the business themselves. Got a small team, but hasn't really. They have got a sales function, got a sales process because they've got a successful business, but they've got to that stage where they kind of flatline to get the growth they need. They need a sales strategy, get a sales process. Start with numbers. Where have you come from? Mm-hmm. This is where you are now. If we do some things differently, this is where we think we could get to. Yeah. In the next 12 months, next 3 years, next 5 years, this is what it's going to look like, and then figuring out what's all the stuff that we need to do to get there. And that's kind of where I come in and help them do that stuff. So a lot of it is around the strategy side of it, but we also, I roll my sleeves up and get stuck in and do the work with them as well, work directly with the business owners or manager directors. So that's one piece. The other one is where they potentially got a small sales team who aren't, and the owners or the MD's trying to manage these sales team and not doing a great job because they're doing loads of other stuff as well. So kind of coming in place and helping with the sales team and help managing those people, and then put, again, strategy, targets, KPIs, accountability, all those kind of stuff that I would then take off. And so I can, go into a business, look, you focus on what you're doing. I don't know, they're an engineering business, for example, the owner's been an engineer, love that side of things. I'll take the sales function off you, and I'll have a call with you once a week, just to tell you how the sales function is doing, and I'll run that for you, get you to a level, and then off you go. Then and hire that full-time person is the kind of model. So they're the two main ones, and then other times it could be we've got big corporate clients who need some help with sales. We do sales training as well, so need some want to train bespoke sales training packages for big sales teams. Do a lot with the Chamber of Commerce and Growth Hub and organisations like that in the area, where individuals from different businesses come together and help them do some sales training. And then, I've got startups, solopreneurs, kind of helping them as well. So it's got we've got a solution for most businesses out there, but the core one is that owner operated kind of SME business.
So it's quite, like you say, quite diverse, or it doesn't matter really a size of a business. What about sector then? Is there any, from your experience as well and from Sales Geek, is there any particular sector which seems to have a trend where they tend to struggle more, or? Yeah,
we say that we are sector agnostic, which we are, because any business needs a sales function for it to succeed. So we do a lot, but we're not. So it's mainly business to business. We do. So we're all about relationships, building relationships with clients, prospective clients. Maybe slowing the process down a bit. How can you differentiate yourself from your competition, and building all these into sales processes. So it's mainly B2B companies we work with. But we do, I guess, quite a lot with professional services. So accountants, solicitors, IFAs, we do quite a lot with those people. Half of their role is sales. They don't think it is, but it is. Helping those out. We do quite a lot with, in the area, manufacturing companies. We've got one or two salespeople in those, in them. Engineering, 10 people who don't like the sales part of the role, so they just don't really do it, or they kind of brush it to the side. So we kind of help. We can really help those people quite quickly and be quite transformational in the early stages with those types of businesses. But there's nobody really. It is agnostic. Every business needs a sales function, and we can help them out. But mainly B2B is where we are. We do have some business to consumer clients as well, but mainly on that business to business side. And
there's something I've just picked up on there, what you mentioned about, certain businesses as well might not actually recognise that a lot of what they do is selling. But then I suppose then they might not be being productive in actually generating the return or getting those sales in and over the line. So how vital is it to understand what a sales strategy actually is?
It's key. You could have the best product or best service in the world, but if you can't articulate your message or get it, or understand who your clients are going to be, articulate the message and why it is so good, then you're going to really, really struggle. So that's kind of how we help people. We've got, and I think also sales is still a bit of a dirty word, out there, and it still is. In fact, our mission statement is to change the way the world perceives sales, because it still has got, going back to 10, 20 years ago, still a bit of a stigma from used car salesman. I'm an ex-used car salesman, full disclosure. But double glazing window sales, some really bad practices that they used to do. So it's still kind of got a stigma on that, but it's changed so much. Sales now, it's all ethical selling, being honest, building trust, doing what's right for the customer, whether that means they buy from you or not. But having those conversations and being prepared to actually, we're not the right fit for you. Here's somebody else who can help you better than we can. But I'm a great believer in what goes around comes around, and I think you will do that. So kind of teaching these kind of things and these processes to the businesses is key. And going into these companies saying, look, we've got a strategy behind this. Let's have a goal. Where are we going to, right? And then how do we get there? It's key. It's key to do that, and understanding what those things are and having some help to do that, and having somebody, critical friend is quite key. I find myself sometimes quite lonely as a small business owner. It's quite lonely, so having that somebody can call at 8 o'clock in the evening to sound off is happens quite a bit too. It's important, that, and it's good to have that. I'm not going to lie, if there is someone you can just pick up the phone and someone you can trust and talk through whatever issue it is. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to ask you,
How can AI be a benefit?
Yeah.
Or could it also, I'm going to ask you, flip it the other way, could it be a detriment as well?
Yeah, good question. And I guess when AI first came out, all these big, headlines, it's going to take over, salespeople, it's going to take over from salespeople. We're not going to need them anymore. Marketing departments are not going to need them anymore. AI is going to do it all. Actually, I think the novelty is kind of wearing off, and it's going the other way now. I think we're finding we've got we were talking before, but this last sort of 6 months has been really, really busy for not just for me, but for Sales Geek as a business. AI, I'm a massive fan of AI. I use it every day, and it just means that I can get so much more done now with my time. But I kind of would bring it into, how can I explain this? So think of a sales funnel. So I'm drawing a funnel here. So you've kind of got people coming to the top of the funnel, which is potentially might want to buy your stuff. Okay, so they've seen some marketing that you've done, or they've been recommended, so they're kind of interacting with your website, maybe have a conversation, and fall a bit further down, have a conversation with us. We then as business qualify these people, ask them some questions. What's your problem? Can we help you? If we can't, then as I say, let's move you on to somebody else who can. But yeah, I think we can help you, and this is how we do it. And then this is what it's going to cost, and all those kind of bits, the relationship piece. AI is amazing for the first bit to try and get to grab someone's attention, to try and maybe. So what does that mean? So I use it for trying to find companies who I think would buy my services. So using AI to do some of that, some of those initial interactions, maybe automating some of that kind of piece just to get the retention. But once you've got the retention, where it doesn't work in my eyes is if you try and automate the rest of it, because that's all about relationships, especially if you're in a business-to-business company. So that qualification piece where you're asking questions, getting to know the customer, that is key, and that's really where I think businesses can really differentiate themselves from their competition, especially if you're in a competitive market. Is figuring out what are the kind of how can we look after our customers? What are the questions that we can ask? So you're not just doing the generic. Whereas AI could just give you all the features of the service or product you've got. Ask if you want to buy it, but it's just, if it's AI, it's not going to work. Whereas if I can have a conversation with you about your business, ask you a couple of questions, get to know you, what's important to you, where do you want to be, how can I help you reach your goals, and then focus on those one or two things. It's not the 10 features of my service that's going to help you. It's just one or two things. This is what we're going to focus on, and this is how I can help you. Build some value into that. Build some. Then you got the quotes coming to it. Then the money side of things always going to come into that, but building some value in why the price is the price, and then the closing bit, it should be a natural. It's just a natural part of the process there, because you built that relationship, they trust you, and they're in it for the long term, and you've got that trust and confidence in your business. That human
interaction.
It's key
as well.
Yeah, I think more and more now, because I think we're all getting. I get it every day, LinkedIn, connect with somebody on LinkedIn, then 5 seconds later they're trying to slap me with their sales pitch, then it's just I'm just going to disconnect from you. So it's it doesn't work, or these automated messages coming through, or loads of spammy emails. I just don't think it works unless you are in the market right there and then for that thing, and they just catch you at the right time. Then maybe there's some piece for it. But I think having those conversations and being a bit more targeted with your audience and spending a bit more time researching these people is going to help you be a lot more successful.
So I'm just going to ask you this then as well. I'm going to bring up social media.
Yeah.
How can a business perhaps stand out from the competition and still be authentic if they are using social media or online platforms as part of their marketing as well? Yeah.
So I think social media, so things like Facebook ads and everything out, it works. It does work. So certainly if you're in a resale business, I know a couple of companies who do it and really, really help those companies. So that works in that perspective. If you're in business to business, LinkedIn, I'm a massive fan of LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot. And it works in the sense of, I talk about how to be successful in sales or in a business. Imagine a pie chart. I could do with a whiteboard here. Imagine a pie chart.
Need some visuals.
I would say. And then 20% of that pie chart is being good at sales. So you've got a sales process. You kind of your customers go in that sales process, but they don't feel like they're in sales process. That's what's being good at sales, is all that part of it. So you've got follow up, what that looks like, all the ratios, all your KPIs are in that 20% bit. So once you're established and you do some great work and you start getting testimonials and case studies out there and sharing those around with social media, that's where your social proof and credibility starts coming. So and it's hard to do that, right? And it takes some time. But if you're a new start company, so I'm working with these people now, you haven't got any of that yet. So how do you start building that? So it's using social media a lot to get out there. Look, let me come and use my service. I'll do it for free, just for I'll show you how good it is. Start getting those testimonials coming back and using that there, so you can start building those pieces up through social media. So it works in that piece. Then you got the other 40% of that pie chart, which is just mindset.
Right.
So, I use it a lot in sales training, but Henry Ford, Ford Motor Cars, he had a saying, so if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're probably right. So if you're getting into a sales situation where you think, oh, this meeting's going to be a waste of time, I'm never going to get this over the line, guess what, you're probably not. But if you go into it really positive, positive attitude, I'm going to make this work, I've done my preparation, it's going to be a good day today, I'm going to have some good meetings, then 9 times out of 10 you can have a good day. When that's really hard with everything else that's going on in our lives, trying to get a positive mindset every day, and that's it. So kind of those are the 3 things that I work on, and probably the 20% bit is where we can help the most. But I don't know if that answers your question. So the social media side is that credibility and social proof. You need, without that, it's going to be really difficult to be successful in sales or in a business. So social media can really help you get your message out there. And if you're early in your career, early in your business, then use it more than you would do once you start getting a bit more. More experience, and you start getting those inquiries coming in.
So I'm just going to pick you up again on something else there about the mindset side of it.
Yeah.
And you're going into a big meeting, and you've already had conversations.
Yeah.
You've had plenty of discussions
about
what they are potentially looking for or what they are looking for.
Yeah.
And you're still 50-50. How then, if you've got like 3 maybe tips that you could do, if you're in that process, you're in that stage and you're going into that meeting, on how you could kind of get your mindset ready if you're going into something and you really want to seal the deal, you want to get the contract signed. How could you get someone who's not quite there and still a bit nervous into that mindset?
Just preparation. Be prepared. Do your preparation before you go in. So that means being knowledgeable about your potential customer. So everything that you need. So do your research on that. We've got the great thing about AI and everything else. All the technology we've got now, we've got access to all the information. So make sure you do your information on that. Learn it. Make some notes on it. Understand what good looks like for you at the end of that meeting. So I would say, look, minimum at the end of this, I want some kind of positive outcome. So it could be there's a follow-up meeting that we have, or I'm going to talk about numbers, send a proposal through. But the goal I want out of this is then to say, let's go ahead, and you're sending contracts out, but not settling for any less. So how do you do that? So being prepared with some questions. So I think there's a lot of work I do with clients now as a discovery document. So when you're going in, so that's this qualification part of that sales funnel is key. This is where all the juice happens. This is where you build relationships with people. So if they're going to talk to you about potentially you supplying your service or product, they'll be probably talking to 1 or 2 other people as well. So you actually taking an interest in them and having some questions that you need the answers to, for you to come away and actually say, well, now I know the answer to these questions, this is how I'm going to help you, and how can I add some value to your business, or whether it's me or not, how can we do that? And that kind of gives you the motivation for that. And then you want the direction. So where's the direction? What do they want? So what's the outcome they want from solving the problem that you're going to talk about? So ask a question like, okay, so for example, okay, can I ask you a question? So we have this conversation today. So when you reflect back on our meeting this afternoon, what have I got to tell you for you to say, actually, that was a great meeting that I've just had with John? And that kind of gives you where they want to get to. So you can just go straight down to that rather than all the fluff around it, or put it into your own words, but like where the direction is. Something along those kind of lines. So what's the motivation for you being there? Where do they want to get to? What does good look like? If you solve this, what does it look like? Another good question is, to try and drive the urgency for them to take it forward is, well, you've got a choice here, right? You either you go ahead with us or one of our competitors, and you try and solve this issue you've got, or you try and add some more, you try and grow your business by doing that, or you don't do anything. And you've got that choice, right? And if you didn't do anything, what does that look like next year, this time next year? And it kind of gets them thinking, well, I need to solve this. And you're saying, look, you need to solve it, you do need to solve it. And if you do solve this, what does that look like next year from a revenue perspective, margin perspective, culture perspective in your business, whatever the reason is you're there. So trying to have those conversations, building that rapport there when you come out of that meeting. If you're asking these questions a bit differently to some of your competitors, it's how you're going to stand out. So just, be prepared. Have a list of questions you want to ask, what good looks like. Yep. Those 2 open questions at the start, usually that conversation should answer all those. But then, do your research. Do your research on the people as well, so you know what you're talking about.
Thank you. Great insight there. Very interesting and lots to think about. I'll be totally honest for myself, and I'm sure our listeners as well. But Jonathan, thank you for coming in on Business Spotlight. I hope you've enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Love to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's Jonathan Whitby from Sales Geek here on Business Spotlight with me, Sonya Farrell.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.